Hi guys, Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called thereisonlyonefootball.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff, from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone. All that sporting stuff you can wear anywhere you want to wear it, guys. That's right. And don't forget the website it's on, thereisonlyonefootball.com.
There is only one football!
Oh yes guys, it's Footballers Live tonight from the offices or studios of the Roxburgh Park studio of Footballers. Welcome guys to Australia. It's Footballers Live! Hey, hey, check it out. Hup, hup, feel it. Hup, hup, check it out guys, feel it. Oh, feel it. Hup. The cup of life, this is the one. Now is it done? Don't ever stop. We should have known, gotta be strong. We should have known right from the top. And when you feel the heat, the world is at your feet. No one can hold you back if you really want it. I see it in your eyes, you want the cup of life. Now that the day's here, you're gonna get it. Do you really want it? Oh yes. Do you really want it? Hey! Here we go. Ali, Ali, Ali. Go, go, go. Ali, Ali, Ali. Oh yes, guys. We are the people with a passion. We're going to continue our show. The show must go on. It's my way, the highway today, guys. Soon we'll have someone back that we love very much. But I tell you what, guys, it's our way, the highway today, and it's my highway, and it's all happening today, guys. That's right. Right now, we've got a gentleman here from New South Wales, Steve Zoric. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's like we're coming from some kind of tunnel, I think it's Steve, the way we're going. Now, guys, we got Steve Zoric here tonight, guys, and apparently he's the Rockdale City Suns coach. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, it is.
And you've got a bit of a story to tell us about, a bit of NSL stuff that you're involved in, of course. And now, Steve, we are all struggling here in this country, but we're still keeping our chins up. Is that right?
Yep, 100%.
So what do you feel is happening in Sydney right now before we get the show happening? You guys have still got the COVID. We got COVID. We're all mixed up, but we get forward and get through and do things. I mean, what are you doing right now?
Look, it's funny because some of us are wandering around. Many are in isolation, whether they're close contacts or copped it. I copped it myself a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
On Christmas Day and Boxing Day at a family event, and unfortunately, a family member copped it from going to the doctors on Christmas Eve. And it's funny because we were sitting outside, and we just passed it on to each other during that week, and slowly but surely, most of us copped the positive, and we were blessed that we only copped really very minor symptoms.
Yes.
So nothing where I've got about 9 players out at the moment, and a fair few of them copped it hard, where they had 42-degree temperatures, headaches, sore throats, and couldn't swallow. So they got knocked out with it a bit. So the severity of it is ranging. And look, in New South Wales, got the feeling eventually it's at your doorstep pretty much. You're going to cop it somewhere. So
That's Steve. And tell me, the season starts when? Because it's better to happen now than before the season. Is that right?
100%. I'm a few boys had it in the team at the same time I had it. Just from not us being in contact, but just different times and different ways. And most of the team now, probably about 70%'s had it. So, look, you can get it again, but very rare. So hopefully, fingers crossed, and we keep ourselves, pretty tidy. We might just have some minor hiccups here and there, but copper now, at least you get a bit of a consistent run into the back end of pre-season, into the season proper. Yeah.
Now, what I'll ask you is, now you've been doing pre-season training, and you must have a large squad. So there's a lot of guys still training. Is that right?
Yeah, we've got the squad of 20 that's registered to first grade, but we've also got about 3 to 4 at any one time young fellas that I've got a pretty young squad at the moment.
Yes.
But even younger guys ranging from 17 to 18 that we're blooding in slowly so that we see them maybe a future. So we're giving them the opportunity. So, yeah, we've got a fairly large squad, so it doesn't impact training that much as well. So that's good.
You. Now, Steve, I want to get on with the show here right now, guys, and this is very important that you guys hear this because Steve has been coaching some kids, and I got some information from Carlos today because Carlos couldn't make it. We got to say sorry, guys. Carlos couldn't make it. He's got COVID as well, and it's hitting everybody anywhere and everywhere. But we're still going and we're still happening. So, Steve, first of all, I want to talk to you about your assistant. Now, your assistant and yourself have been together about 15 to 20 years. Is that right? Now, that's like a partnership. When a partnership works, do you keep it together? I'm thinking that all these coaching partnerships for years and years, and yours has been there for years and years, and it's working. Is that right?
Yeah, ours actually started from when we played in the youth system at Sydney United, and that he was a year above me. So he played with Tony Popovic
Jesus, my God.
and all those guys, and I played with Mate Milicic and Ante Morik and that. So we were all in that squad below. And we used to sit on the bench sometimes for him the next day after our game. And, he was a great player. Like, he had finesse, touches, and we sort of played the similar sort of style of football. So as we grew up, we sort of hit a bond straight away. And I'm godfather to two of his kids. And we've just got the same. It's sort of like we just got the same insight into the game. It's unbelievable. Like, it's very rare that you'll see that. I don't think you'll hardly ever see that. Just the same intellect on the game, the same IQ, same feeling about the game. And we've been together in the coaching circles probably 10 years now, and it's just getting stronger every year. And we talk about 20 times a day about it. We're sick, I home from training. Talking call each other and all the way until we get home. And, we're just football mad, but we've, the loyalty's there with each other. And sure enough, sometimes we see some things differently, but, sometimes I may get it wrong and then he sort of points something out and then I sort of like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then vice versa. So we bounce things off each other too because we've got that same view on the game and aspect, and we sort of drive the session together the same passion. It's the whole package. You just can't buy this. You can't buy it.
No. But Steve, let me tell you something right now. I know a lot of people in business and a lot of people are partners in business. And you must get phone calls about 2 or 3 in the morning as well. Your coach would say to your assistant, say, Steve, I've got this fantastic idea for the game and a great idea from the boys on the field. And you're going to tell them, why are you calling me at this time in the morning? Is that right?
No,
Does that happen?
I'm actually the type of guy that could sit in the room and you can lock me up for 7 days. And
You're joking.
Yeah, I'm sick. I'm a football fanatic. So,
mate, that's why they call us the soccer psychos in here when Frothy's here at the time. They call us the soccer psychos. You must have heard that many times. There you go.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that's the thing. So I'm going to go now to two of your players. We are talking about 2 kids who I think one of them played in the Olympics, of course. I think he did. I'm having a guess here. We're talking about Noah Botic. Is that right? He was in Germany as well. One of your prodigies. Is that right?
Yeah, so what happened was I knew about him because I had his older brother that was in the Joey's 2 not Ivan, that's their dad. Jacob Bodic was a goalkeeper.
Yes.
And so I knew about the younger Bodic, Noah, through that. And I was monitoring him throughout because he went to Olympic because I had Jacob at United. And
Olympic?
Yeah. So,
Olympic? Are you for real?
Yeah, he was at Olympic. And they kept him in the same age group the whole time. And then I ended up going to Rockdale under 18s. And he was playing in the 15s that year, and they were going to stick him in the 16s, but I called him up and said, I'm interested in working with you to try and assist you because I can see that you're a future Joey's prospect. So we sat down and spoke about it, and he came across and we stuck him into the 18s. He was 3 years younger, and it took about 3 or 4 games in pre-season for him to adjust slowly, just to the bit of the fear, but he adjusted and then he just hit the ground flying, and he ended up getting 15, 20 minutes 2 or 3 times in first grade off the bench that year, and then went straight into the 20s after that and straight into Germany in the Joeys, yeah.
Oh, I mean, Steve, let me just say something about New South Wales. Of course, you're coaching in the NPL there. There's more opportunities for kids in the NPL to go further in New South Wales. Why is that? In Victoria, it's very different. So Noah's gone to Germany. He's come back. Is he at Western United? Carlos says to me he thinks he's back at Western United. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
So do you think his experience going to Germany? How long was he in Germany for? Because that little bit of precious time would give him a bit of experience to play in a higher level. Is that right?
Oh, definitely. He was there for 2 years, which will give him that.
Geez, of course.
They've seen that professional setup at a higher level. Obviously, their professional setup's a lot higher than ours here. And he would have got that experience. And, you're there with other young players from that, from that country, Germany, but also from other nations. And, it's dog eat dog out there. They're hungry. And, vying to go through the ranks up there is very hard. And he would have got that extra. You always had a competitive edge. Believe me, what I liked about Noah was he was a bit of a modern day striker, but mixed with the olden day, like as we call it back in our days.
Yes.
Could take a hit. He was strong, good in the air, which is hard to find these days because of our curriculum. A lot of players don't even know how to header a ball anymore. So great in the air, good off the shoulder of players, made some great runs, but also could come to the ball and connect and combine. Strong, fast, left foot, right foot. You had that bit of X factor, that 1v1 that we had in the old days, and plus a bit of that modern, because he obviously got brought up in the system that way, and he was competitive at training, mate. You hated losing. You hated, which is hard to find these days as well.
Well, that's the sort of kids you need, that hunger to be able to and he probably puts extra work in at training. I bet you when everybody else goes in, he hangs out on the track. I bet you he does it. Is that an idea? Is that an idea that he's doing that?
Yes, yeah. He would actually put that extra half an hour in after take the balls, and his brother was the same because they had his brother at Rockdale too. So they but the other thing is when he did train. You got a lot of players sometimes, they'll say I trained hard, but I want to keep myself fresh for the weekends. And I don't go. I can't stand that. Obviously you got to freshen up towards the end of the week because you got to be obviously fresh for the game. But, when we're on during the week. And we wouldn't have to drive him. He just redlined every time, He just gave it everything. He'd walk off drenched and fatigued, and then he would actually put that extra half hour in, and that's what used to make him so good. Yeah.
And his fitness would be completely over 100%, I bet you.
Yep, 100%, and ready for that battle. And when you put in the hard work, and as a player, as you're growing up, when the days you weren't fit, and you'd have to wake up feeling good to have that good game, but when you're fit and you've worked hard and you got a bit of X factor about you, you're going to the game loving life, and you're prepared, and your confidence is up.
Exactly. Now, another prodigy of yours is Sam Casella. Now, Sam Casella, He's at the Central Coast Mariners, or is he somewhere else right now?
He's back with us now. So
God,
that's
great.
Jaden Miller. Yep,
Yes.
Yep. He was. I had brought him in from Sutherland into my 20s. He was only 18 years old. And I was and him and Noah were gonna work together up there. And it was funny. He ended up going to Spain for some trials, and
Gee.
I knew he wasn't coming back, and he made it. So he stayed in Spain for about a year and a half, close to 2 years. And then when COVID hit the first time in 2020, he came back and he phoned me up. And when we rebooted the season, I brought him into the squad.
Yes.
And he just we eased him in slowly, and he just took him towards. He started playing, starting in the last 5 games, and he just blew the opposition away every time. He just electric, and ended up signing for Central Coast Mariners. Yeah.
And this is the case of kids, even if they don't, if they just sort of make it a little bit overseas, just that little year or something, that 2 years that they're there, just makes that little difference. I mean, we are talking about academies in Australia where we talk about the AIS, the Centre of Excellence, is closed. How would you compare? You would have known about the Centre of Excellence, of course. Now, kids going overseas or going to the Centre of Excellence, do you find a difference with the Centre of Excellence? Kids going overseas more, are they getting more prepared to play a harder game?
Yeah, I think when we had AIS ticking, they were actually training every day, and when you went there to play them,
yes,
you sort of saw the professionalism back then, where we would go there and play, and they'd have their weights before the game, weight after the game already, just simple 1%ers here and there, like
Yep.
that. Nutrition straight away, so they had nutritionists. Because I obviously had a few players that played with me at United that
Yes.
actually went over there, and talking to them, and you could see it, and it was just they were ready for the professional life, and training every day, and they were always a hot squad, always a tough game against them, and and then when they're talented players and they're training week day in day out together, living together, and living with it, you're ready for it, and it actually gives you more appetite, when you do go over, and it gives you more of a direction. It sort of starts the journey for you, I think,
Yes.
mentally as well. Yeah.
Because when you go to Europe, you're going to it doesn't matter what country in Europe you go to trial or whatever, or be there for a couple of years. You're talking about the centre of the universe of the game. Is that right? You're talking about it is a religion over there. Like we know what's happening here, but when you go over there and that's the only sport they love, they must have more enthusiasm to go overseas rather than to be training here with their clubs. You see that at all?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I do. Yeah. It definitely. There's definitely more enthusiasm going overseas. Look, you're getting, you're living the life as well, that you dreamt of, and here, look, it's hard here because, A-League, it is professional, but is it professional to the extent overseas? No. It's still lacking big time, and you can see that when I've had players go to the A-League, I've had a fair few be picked up for trials as well, and looked at and come back, and a few sign, come back. I get feedback, and I've got a few friends that are agents as well that deal with, sort of like, you just hear some stories and everything, and you just think, wow, does that happen at that level? And, it's not. It is professional, but it's not. It's more like a semi-professional gone full time still.
Yes.
And
That's right.
The kids.
Go on, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah, the kids see that, and they want more. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, it's sad that we can't give more. There's a lot of coaches out there that are probably like me that want to give more and want to go in a different direction, but whether it's funds, short-sightedness, they don't have the same passion for the game. Clubs aren't going in that direction sometimes.
Exactly, and that's where we have we are now struggling even for the A-League to start again because they've got some COVID issues and they're not starting. I just can't believe this. So, watch this space. Also, we are losing our game in the country because of this disease, and we have to push through it. But hopefully, the next few, they're saying It's now going to peak. We're at the peak level now. Let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks, Steve. But I want to go back to your days at the NSL. You came from a very big club, Sydney United, of course. Now, you had coaches there, mate. We talk about coaches and we talk about this coach, that coach. We've spoken to Branko Kalina, but we want to go back to Manfred Schaefer. That's what you told me. You were coached by Manfred Schaefer, is that right?
Yeah, for a brief time. Look, I had a fair few coaches coming through the ranks, like Lee Sterry. I remember him in the old NSL and the old state leagues.
Yes.
Had my uncle for a brief period of time there in reserve grade. Manfred, look, it was very intense, no nonsense, different sort of type of training where you didn't see the ball for about 8 weeks.
You joke.
It was hill runs, sprints.
Oh, no. The old European training, like doing these, what do they call, boot camps and things. Oh, that's what they were doing, of course, yes.
Yeah, and at that time, look, some of the older fellas probably needed it, but going back there when you look at it, and like I always say, me and my assistant coach, we talk like we love our old style, some of the old style, but in terms of football style, but also mixing up some of the modern style that's been brought in, which is, with these days how we're coaching, because the coaching is a lot better these days.
Yes.
I've got to say, not only because I'm a coach, but we're more educated. Because as I was coming out as a player, you just had more of the game instinct on the game, the natural instinct. As kids growing up, I don't see it anymore. We used to go to the park a lot. We used to play different sports, but mainly football. We used to go out there and play it and, play 1v1s, 3v3s, crossing, shooting, non-stop. And I don't see that these days. All the kids are pretty much on Sony PlayStation these days.
Yes.
Or TikTok and Instagram, how they're looking these days rather than trying to earn a craft. And I think that's the biggest difference these days compared to those days. We just had more passion for the game, and but sadly the coaching wasn't as educated like it is now. So I'd say that golden generation that we grew up in was back then. There was a lot of players that didn't even make the grade, and there was a lot of players that could have made it now big time and that didn't make it back then because there was so much talent back then. And I just think, imagine if they had the coaching that they had these days.
Exactly.
The old NSL would have been a bloody cracker of a competition, I tell you.
Right. And now these, as you said, the golden gen, and that's my next agenda. That's my next question. The players you played with, my God, you're talking about the coach of Melbourne Victory right now. We're talking a guy who's, I'm talking about Popovic.
Yeah.
Well, you would have had these guys every day with you there. These guys were golden generation players. I mean, can you name a few of these guys?
He was the biggest professional. So I remember talking to his dad because I had a bit of a time where I went for a 6-month period where growing up, I just sort of got a bit ahead of myself and didn't see eye to eye with a few things at the club. And I think I was in the later towards the 15s or 16s, and his dad sat me down and with my dad and started talking to me, and just the stories, and what Tony was like, the amount of effort he used to put on outside of training, and just phenomenal. He knew where it was going back then, and the one thing he played the game to his strengths, and he read the game well. He had that last-ditch tackle that he made, and would get the ball give and go. And then for the defence, he'd actually move up the field and play give and go. And he'd pop up with a few goals of his own, and very hard to get past and always disciplined. And as you got older, it was harder and harder to get by him. And even Gary will tell you, my assistant coach, because, they actually were a year above me, it's got harder to beat him 1v1 every time, every year. And he was just getting harder and harder. And he just goes, you could see the amount of work he was putting in, outside of training every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at that time, we are talking about training at that time, we're talking a community rather than a club. Is that right? These NSL clubs, and you came from Sydney. They were a community. They were close knit people, are close, more like family. And this is why developing these, working as a family and in an environment like that in the community, really develops your thinking and your mind, and as a player, I'm sure of it. It has to. Playing for your community, basically. You know what I mean?
It does. You go in there and you're playing. 100%. And back in those days, like one coach told me, he said to me, "Why are you Croatians all playing at one club? Like, no. He's making a factory of players. Not everyone can make it through that first grade. Like, why don't you spread out and go to other clubs?" And everyone wanted to play for Sydney, Croatia. That was Croatian. And it was like the end all and be all of everything. And I'm sure all the Greeks were wanting to play for Sydney Olympic or South Melbourne. Yes. And, it was just that mindset that you had, and you're playing for your community, and you just loved it. You knew 100% it was family,
More passion as a player, of course. Of course it would be.
Together, at training, you see the parents and everything. Then on Sunday, you'll see majority at church. Then from church, you go to lunch, and then you see them back at watching your first grade play on the Sunday, Yeah.
That was honestly, Steve, that was a complete outing. It was an outing. It wasn't just going to see a game. It was an outing. It was an outing for the families and everything. You know that. Now we don't have that situation where, I'm going to go to this game and that game. I said, what have they got for us? Have they got something for us? There's nothing there. I'm not here to bag the game itself, but we were tribal. We were tribes, tribes, passionate tribes for the game. We were more passionate than Europe. Look, I'm not going to segregate anything. I'm not that sort of guy. But we want to see the game go ahead. But can we see the game go ahead? Now let's go to the second division. That is the point I want to make, Steve. The second division will bring these clubs back together, and that passion and the communities. And we will see a lot of people at these games, Steve. Now, also, you told me a week ago or two that also Rockdale City Suns want to be in the second division. You guys have put in a bid for that. I'm sure you've put some information through on that.
Yeah. They've been discussing that. So I don't know where we're at with that at the moment. But I am sure that they're pushing to be part of it as well. That was the plan. And they're passionate, they want to get in there as well. And, the club's moving forward in a big way throughout the New South Wales NPL now. So it's making strides and we're building something special there at the moment. And it's starting to come out on the football pitch as well. So it's actually good to see. And they're very passionate, and what I've got to say is, back in the day, you had Sydney United, Sydney Olympic, South Melbourne, Melbourne, Croatia.
Melbourne Knights, of course, as well. They were big too.
Yeah, so, and won titles and that, and it's sort of like they're, now they're in that stage, like that, still building now, and they're wanting that success. So, and the amount of community work, they're more like it reminds me of the old days a bit there, because it is a community feel there, and they'll have people come to watch us at training now on a Friday night too, and they have a bit of a meal in the clubhouse, and you can see from the clubhouse, and a bit of at times. Obviously through COVID, it was minimised. It actually had to close down, but that community feels always there, and we get a bumper crowd a lot. Probably the most passionate fans in the New South Wales at the moment, alongside with Sydney United, obviously. We want to be part of it. Yeah.
Well, that's it, and we are talking here of clubs that have got their own home grounds too. It's not as if some clubs in the A-League are struggling to find grounds to play in and everything, and everything in New South Wales. They're basically boutique stadiums, aren't they? You all have stadiums with seating and everything. The one thing about Victoria's teams, and I'll tell you, the majority of the NSL clubs came from New South Wales, and you know that, Steve. So if you go through that list of yours of NPL New South Wales, you're going to see teams, Sydney United, you're going to see Olympic, you're going to see how many, Blacktown City or whatever. You're going to see teams like Marconi and all that. They're former NSL clubs. And I don't even know why you guys didn't call it the NSL. The NSL in New South Wales, you know what I mean? That's the thing. That's the other thing.
And, you still got RPA in there as well.
Yes, that's right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's amazing they didn't use that as the second division anyway, so they're all there. That's the other thing,
Yeah. just started this earlier. I don't know what's taken them so long.
I know.
We've been talking
I
long.
I do have some information that I get information from some journalists. In the next few weeks, they will be talking about the second division. It's supposed to start in 2023, I was told. So watch this space, Steve, as they always say on media. Watch this space. And we've been pushing, our show's been pushing for the second division for the last 4 years. We've been pushing it. We want to get involved. Our show wants to get involved as well and that sort of stuff. But I want to send a cheerio. Some young kid wants to talk to you, a kid that's from, he was at, would you like to talk for a couple of minutes with this kid? He was one of your kids.
Yeah.
I'll put him on. I'll get him on here. And just hang on, Steve. I'll put him on. Hang on, Steve, for a sec. Hang on. We've got a surprise for Steve, actually, guys. Matthew, is that you?
Yes. Hello, Harry.
How are you? I'm going to put you on to someone that you may know. Hold on. Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You may know the name Matthew Roussos. Do you remember you, a little kid who played for you guys? I want to ask you some questions.
How are you, Matthew?
How are you? Good. I'm good.
Yeah, very good.
He's moved clubs actually, but he's gone somewhere else. But the thing is, he still loves the club there at Rockdale City Suns. He's still in touch with some people there, and he's still in touch with some players. So there you go, Steve. He's still there. But I'm sure in the next few years you might even ask him back the way he plays. I think you might have seen him, huh?
Yeah, no, very talented player. It was sad to see him go, but you got to do what's best for him in that decision at that time, and you got to respect that. And I'm always good with that, and 100%. I always welcome players back, and especially talented ones and ones that are driven. Yes.
And Matthew, do you have any questions for Steve? You must have something to ask him at least.
How's the team going now? Is it coming along? Are they doing good?
Yeah, look, we've actually put together a very strong squad. The depth this year is brilliant, and we've pretty much got depth in every department. So, in the boys, the lads have got a very good drive about them, and it was evident yesterday. We played our first friendly after being back a week, and with 9 players out, we ended up putting a few 18-year-olds in the end for the last 20 in there as well, just to take the load off some of the boys. And ended up winning 1-0, but their character was great, showed good character as a team, and it's a close-knit team. It always has been. The dressing room, it's very important to have a great dressing room, and it's been great, the environment, but I think it's gone to another level this year, and it was evident straight before Christmas when we hit the road running. And good. It's a good ball-playing team, very smart side, and a lot of speed, so it's good. I'm actually extremely excited about this side.
That's good.
Matthew, any more? Come on.
And how are you going with your new club? You liking it?
Yeah, so far we've finished our pre-season training. I've met some new friends too, and yeah, hopefully this season goes well.
No, it should be, and they have got a good youth set up there. And just make sure that you keep trying to improve every time. Back yourself all the time, be confident in whatever you do, but also, don't be scared to work on stuff that you need to work on to improve areas that you need to improve on to become that complete player.
Yeah.
Gee, I tell you what, Steve, this sounds like a coaching clinic tonight. Fantastic. And Matthew, any more for Steve? Because I've got some other questions for Steve, some big questions at the moment too. Matthew?
Pardon?
I've got some big questions for Steve. Do you have any?
Not really right now.
Anyway, thank you for coming on, Matthew, and we might get you on another time with your dad. Is that all right?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Harry.
No worries. Thank you. Now, thank you, Matthew. Now, Steve, I've got some big questions for you right now. Now, a few weeks ago when we spoke, you said your uncle was Wally Savoy. My God, man. My God, what a player.
Yeah, very true.
Now, how is he? He's related to you through your dad or your mum? Which one? Mum. Now, have you? Now, of course, when you're small and maybe 10 or 15 or whatever, Did you say, Uncle Wally, can you teach me some of the skills, please? Did he do that?
Yeah, look, we used to play in the park a lot.
Oh, my God. What fantastic. Steve, go on.
Yeah, because he was always, busy training and then traveling with the Socceroos. So it was good because we used to get tickets to the Socceroos through him and get to all Sydney. That was good. And yeah, he used to play in the park with us, but he was even competing against us in 13, 14 years.
I get you, mate. To have an uncle like that, I mean, you must have looked up to him when you were a junior player. Now, where did you play your background, Steve? Where did you start playing?
I started playing at Oatley RSL.
Yes.
So, because we lived in Oatley at that time, which, look, it's close to Hurstville, and there's a Croatian club in that St. George area, Hurstville's Zagreb. So I didn't end up going there. I don't know why, for some reason, because I had a lot of mates there. Ended up playing with a few of them that were there United, but I went to the local team Oatley then. And, ended up going to St. George in the under-13 youth, St. George, the old St. George Budapest.
Yes, my God. We've got one of these, Steve, we got one of their shirts behind us right there. On the screen, you'll see St. George Budapest shirt right there later on when I show you the show. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I went there when the youth started. So I was there, and then after that year, I ended up to Sydney, Croatia, from the 14s up. Yeah.
It's amazing. So you really went through that NSL system just about at that time, of course. Well, they were all the clubs there. Of course, St. George were an NSL club. So were they in the NSL at the time you were there as well? Of course.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, Frank Arrock was coach.
Yes, fantastic.
So coach was the coach, yes. Yeah.
It's a sad story. He passed away a year ago. But anyway, we rest him in peace. A fantastic coach. Did you get to meet him at all?
Yeah, look, I was in the... I was in an academy that he started at the beginning, but then I pulled out. So when I was about 15 years old, it was players of age group from 15 to 17. There was 1,500 kids that were called to trial.
Jesus.
It was an initiative that he started with Richard Allegich at the time.
Oh, I know who he is, yes.
And they wanted to form a specialised academy morning and afternoon.
Yeah.
I got in. He was a great mate of ahead of his time, great coach, and we ended up doing, fitness tests at Narrabeen over there at the sports centre and training, and it just got too much for me. Actually, you just thought back then it was ahead of their time. Yeah.
Just amazing to have that coach in front of you. Of course, the Socceroos coach for many years, and mate, he was one of a kind, wasn't he? One of a kind of a coach, that's for sure. That's the thing. Now, Steve, you've won quite a few titles in the NPL as a coach. Is that right?
We won that minor premiership in my first year of coaching in the NPL, first grade. So that was 2020. Yep. So we won that. Even though I believe it was a COVID season, half a season, but it was one of those seasons where it was tough because everyone went for it.
Yep.
There was no,
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
One loss got you down the fourth and first, and the third you ride. Eventually. Yeah.
Steve, I'll stop you there. I've got to call you back. I've got to get the other line back because I've got the two lines at one go. So just hold on. I'll call you back in a sec. Hold on. Guys, I've got to call Steve back because apparently we've crossed lines. So we'll just get him back right now and finish off what we're supposed to do with Steve. So let's get him on right now. Here we go. Yeah, what an interesting interview tonight, guys. Very interesting interview tonight. Steve, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
That's better. We had crossed lines with Matthew, so I had to hang up. So, getting back to Frank Arrock, to basically have a guy there, was he Socceroo coach at the time? Was he coaching St. George and his Socceroo coach at the same time?
Yes, he was. Yes.
That's a massive job. And these days they can't do two jobs at once, believe me,
No, I agree. He loved the game. You can just see it just when he spoke to you too.
Yep.
He oozed passion, and for it, he was sharp too. When he did something on the ball, you'd freak you out because you wouldn't expect it from him, and sharp as. And just, said the things at the right time, knew when to really talk to you. Sometimes it'd motivate you, sometimes it'd give it to you. It didn't matter how old you are, how young you were. There was a phase there where he gave it to me where he said, I've got, because of the testing, I came back, I had my capacity of lung, my VO2 max was a marathon runners, they actually compared it to Robert De Castella's when he was at the IAS. And but he said to Marco, and then he pulled me aside, he said the same thing. He said, he's got a motor, a big motor, but he moves like a bucket.
Jeez, Steve.
Yeah, because he sort of picked up a good, no one really picked it up on me. It was sort of like I used to sometimes look at my past and then love my past, you know what I mean? And rather than go and kick on and support from behind and that. And, no one used to give you feedback, but he give you feedback whether you liked it or not like that. And that's what improves you when you got to improve certain things. And he wasn't shy and he used it. And he was a workaholic, yeah.
And that they call that constructive criticism. Is that right? And that's what they say, Coach. This is constructive criticism. It's not telling you off, but it's criticism. It's constructive for you to work on. I bet you that's the way he spoke too. I bet you.
Yeah. He was sharp, fast, and straight to the point. And, didn't mince his words, which is great. And, and the thing is, I took a lot away from that because I live and breathe that now as a coach too.
Yes.
I'll never lie to my players. I'll never try and motivate them by lying to them. And when, like a salesman, I don't want to do that to them. I'll sit down with them. Obviously, you need your facts and, and talk to them. But I'd rather be face, and talk to them and tell them where they need to improve. And this is how it is. Because they might not like, sometimes they don't like at the time, but then they will come back and they sort of think about it. And, if you always say the truth, they realise you're just being honest. And that's how you get mutual respect. And, they'll work, and they'll keep, and that's how you get a player to respond. But when you lie, if you do that, or, try and bend the truth or don't like to confront a situation as well, because some people don't like confrontation either. You get yourself in a pickle down the road because they'll start calling that out. And once a player sees that it's not happening where you've told them, or, just try and keep them happy initially, because it is hard to manage players, but, they just turn off, and you don't want to go to that. You don't want to be there. The best is the truth and have that respectful relationship with your players. And if a player doesn't like the truth, then, obviously it's not worth having him in the squad.
And this is where they say a coach is a psychologist as well in the team and everything. And this is all. And mate, you've done a few little different things. A bit of sports psychology I hear coming through there too, Steve. So that's the thing. That's amazing stuff. But look, it's been fantastic having you on. One little thing is, when does your season start, Steve? We want to know, because I tell you what, mate, we're not really happy about the NPL in Victoria. They're talking about April. Are they for real? When do you guys start?
March the 6th.
Well, you're much earlier than us. There you go. March the 6th. It's only a few weeks away if you look at it. How many? It's only.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's only about, 6-7 weeks away.
That's right. And we're talking about April in Victoria, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's just stupid. I mean,
why they do that?
I don't know, Steve. I just think because of last year's stuff up here as well. They only played a few games, and then they just said that that's it. We can't play. COVID's hit here. That's it. Bye-bye. The lockdown you know how big the lockdown was in Victoria, don't you? So they absolutely they stopped all sports here, Steve. They stopped local AFL. They stopped the NPL. They stopped every kind of sport you could see. They stopped it. And really, to tell you the truth, Steve, is that exercise and sports are very healthy for this sort of thing, to get over it. And to be able to, because when you're training, Steve, I've been through sports myself and played everything. I played soccer as well. When you are training and running and moving and sweating and everything, your body it opens up. You're getting a lot of chemicals released, which fights all sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? And they don't seem to understand that. And gyms to close as well. Gyms? Ridiculous. But, Steve, this is why it's better to be on the park, to be healthy. Do you know what I'm saying? And we copped that really badly here last year. But, I mean, at least you guys kept going. Is that right? And you did.
Yeah, we kept going, and then we got locked down, which is with about, going into round 17.
Yes.
And we only had 5 games left, and yeah, they just locked it down and then suspended the league as well. For me, I just feel sorry for all those kids that were
Yes.
18
Yes.
to the 20s and that. You know, especially the ones that are a bit older, they've lost their chance of making first grade in NPL, and you know, all that effort and time and money gone into it from them. You know, just gone almost down the drain because of it. And you know, if we keep going this way, there's going to be another group of players that are going to miss out. And
That's right.
and that's not for football; it's for all sports.
Exactly.
Because it's not fair. I just don't. And I agree with you. Sports is probably one of the things out there that will keep everyone healthy and their immune system strong.
Exactly.
And you know what? It'll help them mentally as well.
It does.
Yep.
It does, Steve. Steve, we're going to get you on sometime very shortly again, if we can, during the season, and to talk about the review of the season in the NPL. We've spoken to a friend of yours, I'd say, Ante Zoric. We spoke to him a few weeks ago, and the funny thing about, I'm sure he's going to watch this show. You know him quite well, don't you?
Yeah, we know each other. He coaches Olympic as well.
Yes.
So, we go up against each other.
We had him a few weeks ago when we interviewed him. He put on that Spew shirt. You know that Spew Socceroo shirt, the Spew one, the Kingaroo one? Have you got something to wear and put a photo up there as well? Have you got your Sydney United shirt? I'm sure you still got it, Steve.
Yeah, I had the one. Remember, I was telling you.
Yes, I know. It's missing.
Still got it. Because he picked it up off me to do that Football Belongs.
Yes.
So I need I'll give him a call and try and get it back. I'm still waiting for it to return.
Mate, I'm lucky you reminded you, eh? I'm lucky you reminded you.
Yeah, been about 6 months, mate. And,
oh my God.
Yeah.
So we'd love to see you wear it and take a photo, and we'll put it up on the site there. We're trying to get all the coaches, all the ex-players to put their shirts up. We'd love to see that. Even if you've got an old, and I'm sure a lot of people tonight are watching from Sydney, of course, because you're the coach of Rockdale City Suns. Even if you've got a Rockdale shirt, put it on and send it to us. Please, a photo. Please send it to us. We'd love to put it up, you know?
I'll do that. And if you want as well, I'll take a straight photo of my uncle gave me, I don't know why he gave it to me.
You're joking.
The Zico Udinese when he played for Udinese because he marked Zico.
Oh, you're talking about Wally?
Yeah.
My God, man, we want that stuff, please.
Yeah, I'll take a photo of that Udinese jersey
now,
for you as well. Yeah.
One more favour. Can we get Wally on the show? Can we get him on the show?
I think you can. I'll talk to him tomorrow.
Please talk to him if you can, and I'll send you a text message. Can send you a phone number, and we can call him and organise him for next week or the week after. You know,
Yep, that'd be great. Yeah, definitely.
And you'd be able to maybe come on with him and talk about the things that he trained you with or whatever. Is he coaching? What's he doing these days?
He's coaching. You know the old Canterbury Miracle. They're called Canterbury Berries now.
I've heard of yes, I've heard of them.
Berries now. So yeah, the old Canterbury Miracle Olympic. So he's coaching them now in the NPL 3.
Yes.
So yeah, he's enjoying it. It's a bit of a rebuild there and a different direction clubs going in from where they were previously. So he's actually enjoying it. He's passionate about it. So and he's doing quite well with it. Yeah.
And he had I wonder if he was the coach at the time. He had them in the FFA Cup.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was him. He did. That was him. Really? Gee, amazing stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. We're looking forward for Wally to come on the show. Looking forward to putting a shirt on and that information about marking Zico. We want to see all that stuff. You know what I mean? So yes.
Yeah, definitely. I'll
Steve,
do that.
Thank you for joining us, Steve, and we'll call you in the next few weeks. Hopefully, get you on during the NPL season. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for coming on. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, guys, that is amazing to have Steve Zoric online here, and also his uncle is Wally Savoy, former Socceroo. What more could you ask? If we can get Wally on the next week or the week after, we're talking about that 1988 Gold Cup game against. He actually played in that game against Argentina that we won. I think we won 3 or 4-1 or something. So. Of course, that'd be a great talking point. And I've also got the Socceroos shirt as well. And look at these shirts behind me, guys. They are former NSL Phillips League shirts, all on sale right now. If you're listening from overseas or in Australia, those shirts are all for sale at $75 plus postage. We're going to make a little commercial tomorrow on these shirts on our site as well. So that's right. Alex got it 4-1. I got it right, Alex. I did get it right. So if we can get Wally Savoy on, we'd love to talk to him about that Gold Cup game in 1988, guys, when Australia beat Argentina, and of course Frank Arrock was the coach at the time too. So there you go, guys. Don't forget these shirts, guys. All these Sydney Olympic. We've got Canberra City, Western Suburbs Magpies. We've also got down here. We've got St George, Brisbane Lions, Fitzroy United. To my left here, we've also got you know who that is, guys. Eastern Suburbs Akawa, and also Marconi, which is actually my favourite shirt, guys. The Marconi shirt's a fantastic shirt. So they're all going for $75 plus postage. This is history to buy back again. If you're interested, guys, it's on our site. You can see it there. There is only one football. And I want to talk about our sponsors here right now, guys. There's only one football. All these shirts available on there, guys. There's only on onefootball.com. See City Lawyers. That's right. The lawyers that come to you in City. Carlos Bielli, who's one of our co-hosts, who's a bit sick tonight with COVID. That's right. See City Lawyers. Call Carlos, guys. The information's up on our site. And also Arrow Sport, who are partnering together with There's Only One Football to bring you these fantastic shirts, guys, at $75. And also, if you're looking for kits for your club, Arrow Sport make team kits, and you can get them online as well, arrowsport.com.au. We'd like to thank you guys for joining us tonight. It's a bit of a different show without Frothy, but we'd love to see him in a couple of weeks' time. And thank you for joining us, guys. It's all happening again. Thank you, guys. Join us next week. Hey guys, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week, guys. 8:30 p.m. Monday. Oh, don't tell me. Hup. Hup. Check it out. Here we go. Hup.
The cup of life, this is the one. Now is it done? Don't ever stop. We should have known, gotta be strong. We should have known right from the top. And when you hear the sip, the world is at your feet. No one can hold you back if you really want it. I see it in your eyes. You want the cup of life. Now today's here, you're gonna get it. Do you really want it? Do you really? Tell me. Good night, guys. See you next week at 8:30 p.m. Monday night with another special guest. We've got a few coming in the next few weeks. Join us at 8:30 p.m. Monday night. Thank you. Hi, guys. Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called thereisonlyonefootball.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff, from caps, T-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone. All that sporting stuff you can wear anywhere you want to wear it, guys. That's right. And don't forget the website it's on, thereisonlyonefootball.com.
There is only one football!